Have you ever tried sketching in Photoshop and thought, why is this so clunky? Yeah, me too. So today I'm testing out Krita for the very first time to see if it actually works better for drawing something tricky, like armor. Hello, welcome to my channel, Silver Musing. My name is Eva, and today I am drawing Riri from the show Ironheart, and this is actually different for me. So today I'm using a different program called Krita. I usually work in Photoshop, but today I wanted to try something different because I wanted to specifically paint, or rather draw, Riri in her armor. I don't usually draw armor, so this is different for me, and I wanted to try it out just to kind of practice and, get a little better at it. I wanted to use Krita because I was just hearing about how this program in particular was better with sketching, and I figured that'd be a better foundation to start, instead of just kind of painting everything in Photoshop. When I paint, I usually don't like to have line art underneath, but with armor, since it's more structured and, obviously it's more technical, I'd rather have a line art. I'd rather have some kind of foundation at the bottom. And I wanted to try just a technique where I would kind of get the metallic values established first and then possibly like paint over it, or really have the art or have the line art be kind of overlaid over the color. I don't know, just figuring out, just experimenting, and yeah, that's basically kind of the gist of this. I'm basically just kind of using Riri as an excuse to practice armor, but I might draw Riri because I did enjoy the show as well, and I did enjoy her character, so I figured why not? That'll make it a little bit more fun for me to do, since I'm usually painting organic characters or drawing organic characters, so I'm not usually an armor type gal. But this was fun. Working in Krita specifically was interesting because, it definitely, first off, this program is free, and this program's also existed for a few years, and this is literally the first time I've ever used it. Like right now, you're literally watching me use this for the first time, so I'm kind of going in blind here. But I am impressed with the quality of the brushes they offer. Like, I was using something called the chrome brush. I was using that primarily to sketch this out, and I just found it to be so fluid, so intuitive, and extremely traditional feeling. It felt like drawing with the side of a pencil. Like, that's what it felt like. But I also loved how quickly you can just establish the values and how quickly you can just shade and render things. Like, it's much quicker to draw in here than in Photoshop, because obviously this program is designed for art, designed for digital painters specifically. So, and the fact that this is free, and I would think this is probably a lot better quality drawing than a paid program like Photoshop, says a lot. And of course, these days there's so many other programs. You have like Clip Studio, you have Procreate, there's so many others, Sketchbook Pro. But I've used Photoshop for like 20 years, so that's why I stick with that one. And even later in this video, I'm going to switch back to Photoshop to do color. But sketching, though, I like this much better than in Photoshop. The only issue I had was really due to my computer. My computer's a little bit old and not the fastest, so this was a little laggy drawing in this program. That's probably the only negative. So that did kind of slow down my process, only because of my computer. But I think with a faster computer, I can see my process probably being to sketch in here and then color in Photoshop, because sketching in here, it felt much faster. In Photoshop, getting like this kind of quality so soon probably take me a lot longer than in this program. So, and even here, my computer wasn't so laggy, I would have probably finished this faster too. But, and then also, this is like first time using the program, so I'm obviously still kind of getting my bearings here and getting used to this brush in general and just this program in general. But yeah, I just used the reference, just I guess one of the many images of her in her armor, and yeah, you know, just kind of eyeballing it. I mean, it's just kind of more of a sketch. I'm not really trying to fine tune anything. Really, again, this is just kind of me practicing. So I mean, the armor might not be exactly like the reference. You know, for me, it was just a matter of just getting something established. But I mean, it was still a lot of fun to draw, though. It was a lot of fun to draw in this program, because this program, it feels like you're drawing on paper. Like it really feels like I'm sketching with a pencil, but a ton faster. So here I switched to the chalk brush in the program, and I love the chalk brush in here. I mean, that just sped up the rendering a lot, and it kind of got an effect I wanted, where I can kind of highlight the more reflective elements of the armor. Like, you see how quickly, like, it's kind of getting done. Like, I mean, again, if I were in Photoshop, I'd have to probably like render all that manually. Here, I just kind of doing a few strokes, and I'm getting that gradient texture, and the texture of these brushes are just so good. Like, this texture is pretty much impossible to get in Photoshop. Like, no matter how good the brush is in Photoshop, like, this texture is just, you're not able to get this. Like, it's just, the program's not meant for this. Again, this is a free program, so like, that's just crazy that it's offering this kind of detail. So here I'm mostly, I'm not really filling in like the values of the armor. I'm mostly just filling in I'm just mostly getting the metallic shine. As far as the values, like I said, I'm just gonna bring that into Photoshop. Like the color flats, all that would be in Photoshop. So here I'm not really focusing on like the dark spots, light spots. I'm just kind of focusing on just the actual, you know, metallic texture. Okay, so I think I'm in Photoshop now. So now, you know, I'm going to start applying the flats. And by the way, switching between this and Photoshop is pretty easy. You can actually save as a PSD file in Krita, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, so I think here I realized I forgot to draw an element of her armor. So I was like, oh great, I had to draw some of it again in Photoshop, which obviously wasn't the same as drawing in Krita. I just found the closest brush I could find that kind of looked close to the chalk brush or the chrome brush I was using in there, but I mean, it's not the same. But I'm like, at that point, I didn't want to switch back to Krita because I felt like that would have been too complicated, especially since I'm like recording this. So it's just like, it would have been too much of a headache, so. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna happen. You're not gonna get everything on the first try. So I'll be honest, I kind of didn't know what I was doing here. I was kind of making it up as I go. Like, I knew I wanted to, you know, apply the flats and then eventually kind of like apply more values, like more kind of like a painterly color variation underneath the sketch values I did in Krita. But like how it all comes together, I wasn't really sure. like I think I wanted to kind of have like a, I mean, not like an ink effect, because this is definitely not ink like. I mean, it's very sketchy, but I don't know. I wanted the blacks of the sketch to be prominent, but I wasn't sure how it would really work, to be honest. So this was me just, again, experimenting. And I did most of this, I did all of this in like one day. If I gave myself more time, maybe I would have figured it out, but I kind of wanted to get it done in time for, you know, for YouTube. So I did kind of rush it a little bit. I think if I gave myself more time, I would have probably, you know, fine-tuned it more. But, you know, I think for, you know, for this experimentation, you know, it's fine. Like, when I think too much about it, it would just be like, I just trashed the whole thing. But no, I don't think it's to that point. You know, just me learning, that's all. So here, I don't know if I was really looking closely at the reference anymore. I was kind of just looking only at the artwork, which honestly, I probably should have continued looking at the reference, because here, I think I kind of lost the plot a little bit. I was kind of just going by just feels instead of like following the reference. But yeah, I think here's where I started getting a little bit like lost in the rendering. Like, I kind of started getting, I might have started to overwork it, but I mean, I've never worked in this style before. I've never worked from like this type of sketch and then painting underneath it like this. Usually I would partially paint over it, or the sketch wouldn't be as detailed in the first place, but in Krita, I just couldn't help myself. So I think I was trying to rely on the sketch to kind of really hold over the rendering, but I don't know. I think a part of me wanted to, I wasn't sure if the result was perfect, considering, and maybe if it was like pure ink, but I did like a sketch, like it was like a pencil texture. So I think with a different texture, this might have come out differently, but I don't know. I mean, again, it's just me experimenting, but yeah, here is kind of where I'm really just kind of playing around. But as far as working between Krita and Photoshop, I mean, definitely an interesting experiment. I mean, I like to do it again, but again, like I said, my computer's not that powerful like to do that all the time, and Krita files are kind of big. Like, every layer is like 100 something megabytes, and so it's kind of memory intensive. Like, it's free, but you still do need like at least 16 gigs of RAM, and it's kind of heavy. So this might not be a continuous process working between the two programs. I mean, Photoshop in itself is pretty heavy too. So I think once I upgrade my computer, maybe I might try this process again. But it was still interesting to work with this. Like, I think drawing in Krita for sure is much more fun than drawing in Photoshop, like hands down. Rendering in Photoshop, like, that's easier for me, of course, but drawing in Krita, or drawing in probably anything besides Photoshop, to be honest, is probably fun. Like, even drawing in like Procreate or like, you know, Clip Studio Paint, like, those are all better than Photoshop, because Photoshop's not really meant for drawing, even though I use it for drawing a lot, but it's not as fun. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Krita when it comes to that. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Thank you for joining me in my kind of experimentation. And yeah, if you haven't worked with Krita before, I do recommend it if you're interested in especially like sketching, but the program is also made for digital painting, and I haven't tried it for painting yet, but I imagine that would be pretty good in that program too. I mean, give it a try. It's free. As long as your computer can handle it, it's definitely worth playing around with. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, feel free to like it. And if you are interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and it would help the channel a lot. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Peace.